My name is Roy Kawasaki, and I was born and raised in Hilo, Hawaii. I grew up in a plantation. We lived in like a plantation homes. We all got along together, and being Japanese, everybody was on the same page. They all thought, the same. As I grew up, I felt like I just had to get out. I wanted to move away from the small town in Hawaii. Went to City College and then went on to Cal State LA. I think it was more like discovering who I really was. That was it. And coming to LA, big city, you can be whomever. And that was the nice thing about it. My beginning major was art.
Oh,
And I thought, well, I'll become an art teacher or I'll do some illustration or whatever. But as I took art, I realized, God, there are so many talented people, more talented than me. And then I suddenly woke up, let's face it, you'll never be an artist. So I went into education,
oh, I see.
elementary education, and I became a teacher. When you're young, you know you're different. And as I was growing up, I kind of felt like, you know, I know that I'm different, but I didn't know what it was. And like the Japanese say, "Oh, you've got to get married. You've got to get married." And my father always, instilled that idea, you've got to get married. And so I said, okay, then one day I'll get married, but never thought about what was going to happen. So coming up here, and then when I began having stronger feelings within myself as to what was happening inside, I began pursuing, like, finding out who I was. And I remember meeting this one person. He was from Canada. And so when I was attending college, he and I would be in the cafeteria and we would have a lot of chats and, we became friends. And actually, he was the one who brought me out.
Really?
Yeah.
How did he do that?
How did he do that? Well, he invited me out for dinner. And so I said, okay. And so we went out, and I don't know whether it was raining that night. And then he said, oh, you ought to stay over my place. So I said, okay. And then things happened.
And then things happened. Did you want things to happen? Were you surprised?
I was surprised at first.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
then
you weren't scared.
I was kind of confused at first.
Sure.
But then after I thought about it, I said, hey, that experience wasn't bad at all. And so I thought, I should pursue because there's something there. After I graduated, I had a friend who was Hispanic, and I had a feeling that he was gay. And so I just asked him and I said, Robert, how do you meet other guys? And then his eyes just lit up. He knew exactly what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So we decided, okay, we'll start with the bars. And that's how I got introduced.
I see.
We went to various bars. There was a Carriage Trade,
Okay.
which was a restaurant and bar,
Okay.
very popular. And then there was Apache,
Okay.
and Apache on Melrose. On Melrose, there were several gay bars.
Right. Okay.
Then there was the Crown Jewel, which was in downtown. I think that frequented by many Hispanic. At first, it was like, oh, it's nice to see a place where I can feel, or be in a place where I can feel comfortable, knowing that everybody else is gay. The only thing was that we had fight squads that we had to be careful of. because they would come in and they would see if we were behaving. And so in some bars, when they knew vice cards were coming in, they would signal people, like, keep your hands to yourself. Just the word got around.
Okay.
Yeah, keep your hands to yourself. Nothing, that would cause attention.
So
Yeah.
you were actually in a bar or bars when the Vice Squad.
Yeah, I was in. Actually, it was the carriage train when this happened, and I remember the bartender saying, "Okay, they're here." He just kind of quietly, and then the word just kind of got around.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that meant you couldn't touch each other.
Right. Yeah.
hands
You
with each
just.
other,
Yes.
that kind
Right.
of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was this club called Cairns River Club on Riverside Drive, and it's in Griffith Park, right across this place called the Friendship Hall.
Oh, right,
And-
right. I know where that is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it used
yeah.
to be right across there.
Sure. On Riverside.
And then, yes,
Yeah.
and Cairns River Club was a dance bar and regular bar.
I see.
And so a lot of Asians discovered it because basically that was the bar for Asians and Hispanic. And
So it was segregated, not intentionally, but that's where Asians knew they could come and be with us.
oh yeah, and they felt very safe and relaxed. But the only thing, you had all these different Asians from the different countries. Like you would have the Chinese over here, the Filipinos here, the Cambodians, the Thais, and American Japanese. We were all kind of in our own cluster. And then I thought, wow, wouldn't it be nice if we could get all these Asians together and have an organization or a club?
Wow.
I thought that, but someone beat me to that thought. And then, before I knew it, someone was saying, we're having this meeting at this apartment.
Oh,
And so the word got out. And so all these Asians on that Saturday came to this apartment. And the question was asked, would you like to have a organization or a club for Asians? And they all agreed.
oh.
And so that was the beginning. And that from there, we had guys who were already involved in other organizations, not gay but straight. So they knew, how to organize.
Oh, I see.
And that's how
Oh, I see.
APLG was started. And we needed a name. All kinds of name was thrown out. And then this one person, Terry Gogg, said, let's be upfront with our name. So let's call it Asian Pacific Lesbian and Gay. The first president, who was Japanese, Tech, stayed on for 3 years. And then I followed him, and then I stayed on for about 3 years. But the interesting thing about the organization is, it wasn't just the American Japanese, but we had Filipinos, Vietnamese. Towards the end, we had a Caucasian who was very active, and we said, Milt, why don't you kind of be president? At that time, we needed somebody who was willing to hold that position. Yeah, we were educational, cultural, political, and support. I remember as a president, I attended meetings in West Hollywood for the Gay Pride.
Oh.
So we marched about 3 years in the Gay Pride,
Wow.
or even more. But I remember at least for 3 years. Yeah. At first, we were kind of hesitant, but how many? About 15 members march.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a nice group. APLG really became, like I said, it was social and cultural. We had 3 retreats up in San Bernardino Mountains, and about 50 people attended. The purpose for it was cultural, and also getting to know each other. And it was very successful. It helped break down barriers between people. It helped culturally, to understand one another, and friendship. It was very good because everyone participated, in the cooking, cleanup, whatever there was necessary. So it was a teamwork kind of thing, yeah. As the years went by, the younger members wanted more social things.
Oh, I see.
And then the people who were the Caucasians, although they were very good supporters, wanted more saying as to how
Oh, I see.
the organization was run.
Sure.
And so they wanted the name Friends in it. And that's why, it was Asian Pacific, lesbian and gay and friends or whatever. I think they may have dropped the L,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Wow.
and became friends.
Okay.
And so that's how it went. But then at that point already, the old timers were already dropping out. And then AIDS came, right? And we became concerned for AIDS. So we shifted our focus into AIDS education. I developed very close friends. Well, a few of them have passed away,
Sure.
and a few have moved from LA. So, no, I really don't know people today who were involved in
I see.
APLG.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I think basically my family knows now, but they just don't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you think they know now.
Yeah.
So you've never actually had a conversation?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So they just gonna accept,
Yeah.
Not,
Did you ever have a relationship that you brought home?
no,
No.
no. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I've never had a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that by choice?
That was my choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that choice a little bit?
Well, when I got involved with Asian Pacific, it took a lot of time. So I thought, I can't have a relationship and try to, do this and that. And so I just said, no, I just will do what I can without, getting someone involved in it. And then I felt very comfortable just being alone after a while,
Okay.
I became a teacher for special ed, the hearing impaired.
Oh, I see.
I was at the school for the deaf that they had here on 3rd and Alvarado. And I happened to be there one day subbing, and the director of Cal State LA for the Department of Hearing Impaired asked me, would you like to be a teacher for the deaf? And I said, yeah. She said, okay. So I went back to school for another year and became
Oh, I see.
a teacher for the deaf.
How at that time being involved in APLG and that kind of thing could it have affected your teaching?
No,
Okay, so there was, even if someone found out, there was no way that would affect your teaching position at all?
no. At first I was concerned, but after a while I said, no, because there were more gays coming out, in the teaching profession. So,
Right.
yeah. And then you couldn't be fired for being gay. Yeah. I don't go announcing I'm gay. I just live my life as I do. I am a very spiritual person. And so part of my, actually then, spiritual person in a way that I had a mentor who was a minister, a woman who lived in Michigan, and she came out here to LA, because she had a home out here also. And she asked me, Roy, would you like to study, this, these courses, and which were, I don't know if you are familiar with the Course of Miracles. I became a minister.
Oh, you did?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
For that church. Of
Okay.
course, but I really don't practice. I'm just by name minister.
Sure.
But I'm a Buddhist, and my church is really the Nishi Honganji right here. I go to classes that they have, and I attend Sunday services, and I know some really nice people. I've developed friendship there. And this is really funny. I drove into Nihonmachi and I had to go to the bathroom. So I drove over to Nishi and to use the bathroom there. And then while I was got out of my car and heading into the building, this woman came walking with a bag and things, and I looked in it and I said, "Oh, are those art things?" She says, "Yeah, you have an art class here?" She says, "Oh yeah, come see." So after using the bathroom, I went downstairs in the classroom, and there they were. It's called shigirie. It's a Japanese art using paper. And so you develop these pictures by using all this different colored paper, whether they're flowers or scene. You don't use scissors. You just either tear or you have a sharp object to kind of cut the paper and then paste.
Yeah, sure.
And then you just have this. So I studied that, and I studied that for now about 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
So
that
you've
became,
come all the way back around to art.
yes, I did. So that became my focus for a while, Just live your life, live your life with compassion and understanding and love, because in the end, the only person is going to be you, and you have to live for yourself. You can't live for another person. I think a lot of times people don't look at their life and see how much they get out of life, or how much people have supported them or have done for them, like their parents, And as you get older and you reflect, you begin to see that or realize that, my parents did a lot for me, and I really need to show more appreciation. And I think when you are trying to come out or as a gay person because things that happen to a gay person, there's always something we can be grateful for. And we forget because we are so much in our head and so much into our own lives that we screw ourselves up, So if you can live with, giving to other people or just being compassionate or understanding, that also comes back to you, Yeah. And life will kind of work itself, Live with gratitude because there's so much to be grateful for.